Hello and welcome back to Emerge. Today I'm stoked to welcome Mikki, Olly and Tess from Perve Endings back to the show. Thanks for joining me, guys. How have you been?
Thanks,
Hey,
Calen, for
Calen.
having us.
Of course.
Been
Always a
good.
pleasure.
Bored, but good.
Yeah, same. And which release have you listened to the most so far this year, if there's one that stands out?
I'd probably have to say Fontaine's DC has been playing on repeat in our household at least. Their new album Doggerel is amazing. And it's such a shame because we were meant to go and see them live last week, but obviously it's been postponed. But
Yes, we had a listening appreciation evening instead.
Oh, okay. Nice. Nice. And so what kind of record is it?
I think it's their debut album.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
And is it like pretty rocky?
Yeah, it's quite heavy punk rock, but it's really good. Worth a listen for sure.
Sweet as. Any other releases?
Do you have more, Olly?
Okay, second one is a single track by Roman John Arthur called I-69. And
Okay.
it's
Olivia's been playing that. I live with Olivia, and she's been playing it at least twice a day for the last
That good, huh?
2 months straight.
really good. You should definitely listen to it.
It's a really good song.
Sweet. I somehow missed it. I sort myself out after this. Last week, you guys released your latest track, Slow Burn, which is the second single taken from your upcoming EP. What can you tell us about the tune?
So I wrote this one mostly. I mean, obviously we all write together, but this one, especially the lyrics, kind of came from my heart. I kind of wrote it about a friend of mine who was in a bad relationship, and it was kind of draining the life out of her. And I guess I kind of related to her, to that feeling of being stuck, and in regards to my struggles with mental health. So I guess I was trying to draw a parallel between those two situations in order to try and understand her situation. And so that's kind of how the track starts. And then I was trying to express in the kind of in the chorus, I guess, in the later part of the song, that feeling of frustration that you get when you can see that your friends not realizing how much they are valued and how much people love them, and you just want to like shake them and tell them that they're really awesome.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the rest of the song is kind of coming from that.
Okay.
And also when you're down, it's really whether it's because of a relationship or because of anything else, it's also really useful, I find, to try and picture how you would feel if it was your best friend who was feeling that way, and that feeling of wanting to shake them and say you're loved. Try and do that to yourself.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that's kind of where I came from with that song.
And so how was the track to write? Do you tend to have, when you're writing about serious subject matters and things that you're so passionate about, do you find that an easier thing to write about or a more difficult subject?
That kind of stuff comes more naturally to me, I think, than more lighthearted stuff. I think, I don't know, I guess the music that I write naturally tends to be a little softer and more like soulful, which lends itself to those kind of lyrics. So yeah.
And so the lyrics were they written on their own, or was it with a guitar, or? Yeah,
just with a guitar. And then
Okay.
Olivia, I played her these terrible chords on guitar because I cannot play the guitar. And she transformed it into this gorgeous piano piece, which is what it is in the song.
Nice. And so was it difficult to transition it into a more piano-driven track, or did it come
Not
together
at all.
pretty easily?
In my head, I was kind of playing the guitar, but I was hearing Olly play.
Okay.
So I just had to get her to try and understand what was in my brain, and she did it perfectly.
Yeah. Wow. And so how was the actual recording process? Was it pretty similar to working on Georgia?
Yeah, well, we actually recorded. So we recorded the rest of the EP all at once in like 4 days. So we did.
Okay.
So we did like all of the drums and then all of the bass guitar and all of the layering each instrument for 6 songs. Was it, Mikki?
6.
6 songs. So we kind of we're just smashing it out. Whereas with Georgia, it was all in 1 day. So we were focused on one song for 1 day.
Okay.
And it was at a different time. So I think that made the EP kind of flow really nicely because we were kind of recording all the songs at the same time. So we actually decided once we got those songs back, we realized that it just flowed so nicely together that Georgia didn't really gel in there anymore. So we're actually going to leave Georgia as a standalone single.
Okay.
And just release those 6 songs that we recorded in that 4-day period as our EP.
Okay. And so what made you pick Slow Burn as the single for the EP?
I think because it's so different from what we've done before. It's just like just a totally different step. And also it's a really special song to all of us, I think for different reasons. So wanted to give it a bit of spotlight.
Yeah.
And so it was always the obvious choice?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It was what the EP was going to be called, Slow Burn, after the track. And then we just thought, well, it would just summarize our whole year writing the rest of the songs as well, I think. The feeling it brings us together in that song, and I feel like that's what the EP is as well.
And so was the deciding process just something that you dealt with internally within the band? Or did you send a bunch of tracks to other friends as well? Because when talking to musicians about album or EP releases, they quite often enlist outside help just because of being so close to it, basically.
Yeah.
Did you find you did the same?
No, but working with Ali, recording it, he he's a really good friend of ours, and so while we're recording it, he's got some good input. So I suppose having his outside perspective working on the EP helps, but in terms of the tracks, I think they were always going to be the ones that we were going to put on this EP.
Yeah. Okay. And as you mentioned earlier, the single shows quite a bit of variation from previous recordings. Can we expect some more variation on the EP?
So we have the EP was a good chance for us to put some of our like Slow Burn, but another Brutal that we did live with you. It was a good chance to put those 2 tracks on it because it's obviously extended play, so they've got more room in there. And we don't always get to do those live because it depends on the show if we want to put in a slower song. So it was a good chance to have those in there. And then the rest of the EP is quite varied as well. We've got, more punkier songs typical of Georgia and things. But then we also have some really different ones that, as Tess was saying, the EP has this whole sort of vibe, and I think it was the mixing, how it came together as well, and the state of mind we were in, because we were in between doing a tour when we did the EP. And it's just a bit it has a really different sound for us. It's still Perve Endings, but there's a lot of synth and sort of experimentation and mixing like random sounds in, and so it's really fun and different to have it all together.
Sweet as. And any idea when we can expect the EP?
Oh, that's hard because we were thinking the EP was going to be out now, and then we could tour it, but then COVID happened.
Yep.
So we're hoping it actually won't be too long of a wait, maybe a month. But we would like to finish off some things to release with it, and we just can't do that yet. So we'll see. Maybe a month, maybe 2.
Okay, sweet. And have you guys heard any local releases recently that have stood out to you?
Definitely. First one that comes to mind would have to be Clay's new single.
Yes.
Over the Head. Amazing. And Ali worked on that one as well with her. So
wow.
Really enjoy that song. And I'd probably also have to say Miniskirt's new single, Brigantine Street.
Okay.
Another Another banger. Really good.
I think it was Clay, the last gig we saw before lockdown happened.
Was it Valley Crawl?
Yeah, Valley Crawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
I
good
think
was
it was.
that?
The
Oh
one that
my
we weren't, yeah,
God.
the last gig we weren't playing.
Yeah, we weren't
Yeah.
playing. Yeah, that's
Spectators, it was, yeah,
Spectators.
Yeah, probably the last one I went to as well.
yeah.
Clay was
Yeah,
amazing
and
that night.
She was great. She
just
stole the
blew
show.
everybody's mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
completely.
particularly with that song. As soon as I heard it, as soon as she said this was coming out, I was like, I'm marking that in my calendar.
Yeah, so good. Anything else?
We're all pretty excited about Float Therapy's release, which I think you
Oh,
featured
yeah.
as well, Calen.
Yeah,
I think
we'll be
everyone's
playing
been
it.
waiting a while for that one to come out. We first met Paddy when we played with him early last year when he was a band in Byron.
Okay.
And then he moved to Brisbane to pursue music, but the band couldn't come with him. So he was just doing it on his own.
Ah.
So I think he will translate it with a band live when he can play live. But it was really good to finally hear what he's been working on. And he's sort of had a new, I don't know, sort of new branding almost with this release.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's a
Yeah, so
killer
it's
track.
great. It is. I can't believe it's just him. It's amazing.
Wild. And if you guys could make the soundtrack or score 20 film, television series, or video game, what would you pick and why?
So I'm going to answer this one because I have an idea I am super into Quentin Tarantino and he does a great job of scoring in the movies anyway. But when Kill Bill 3 eventually comes out, I would love for that movie. And
Yes.
I would chuck a Perv song in there because I think our new one, Token, would suit
For
the scene very well. But I think it would also just really be awesome to have some like Dead Kennedys in there and X-Ray Specs and just really beef it up with some of that sort of punkier music. But then also contrast it with some, I don't know, classical music in a fight scene. I think it'd just be so much fun to work on something like that.
Yeah, completely.
No limits there.
Of course. Do you have any recommendations for anyone looking for entertainment in isolation at the moment?
Aside from
you go, Ollie. Ollie and I have been absolutely decimating Netflix. So,
yeah.
Ollie, you first, please.
I think, aside from the obvious, sort of trying to stay in contact with like old friends has been nice. Like sort of maintaining friendships. Been playing a lot of board games as well, and lots of just general arts and crafts, which is also nice because usually I feel like you don't really have time, or you have time, but you don't make the time. You know, stuff. So
yeah,
it's been
Ollie
kind of
actually
nice.
crocheted me a beautiful what is it? Crochet. I don't know. It's in a frame. It's really cross stitch. Thank you. It's
a picture.
Yeah, a picture, and that was really touched my heart. So, maybe try and make a little piece of art for your friend.
Beautiful. And what board games have you been playing?
Lots of Rummy Cup. Brilliant game.
What is that?
You have
Have you heard of Gin Rummy? No.
Not really.
Okay.
The classic, I think, but new to me too.
Yeah. Oh, how do you describe it, Ollie?
There's like series of tiles, and you all numbered like 1 to 13, and they're all different colors, and you have to make sets and rearrange sets. It's sort of a little bit nerdy actually, but it's really really competitive.
It is.
And we've been playing heaps of. Tess has this great board game. What is it, Tess? The
221B Baker Street.
Yeah, Sherlock Holmes board game.
It's like Cluedo, but really, really hard.
Yeah,
like you have to actually do some sleuthing. So yeah, that's a lot of fun and really difficult. It's like doing crossword clue, but crossword, but also Cluedo. Anyway,
sounds stressful.
Super nerdy. A little bit stressful. There's been some tension in the household over that game. Actually.
Testing the friendship.
And if you guys had to name one artist or record that has had the biggest influence on you, either personally or musically, who would you name?
Oh, well, we probably wouldn't all land on one together.
Hmm.
I'd probably, I think a lot of our, especially our new EP, sort of, for me at least, I'd have to say Joy Division would be a good
Oh,
one. With more
that's surprising.
synthy punk vibe for a few of the songs at least. And then I'd probably also have to say Julia Jacqueline's album Crushing, her latest one.
Nice.
Hmm.
I think as well.
I reckon
contrast.
Yeah.
my answer would have to be the Cranberries, or Dolores from the Cranberries. 'Cause she
Okay.
is my musical idol. I try and emulate her in any way I can.
Of course. What a
You
legend.
do it well with those soaring vocals.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
amazing.
What about you, Mikki?
I think everyone knows this about me, but I'm obsessed with Amyl and the Sniffers. And I think Amy has had a huge influence on me in probably the past year, but in terms of just being, she just sort of rocks whatever she wants to do. And I think that's a really good infectious thing that everyone should try and do. And it definitely gives me more confidence in the music industry to just be more bold and not worry so much about what everyone thinks and just do it because you want to do it. And I think that's been really good. When you first start, you're like, oh, I don't know if this is good or cool, but it's really good to just forget about that. And so she's shown me a lot of that, I think.
For sure.
Nice. And what else can we expect from Perve Endings in the not too distant future?
Well, I guess like we said, we'd planned to sort of have our EP released and do like a small tour. So I guess once we do release our EP, we've been working on some new songs. So who knows? Like hopefully we might even have another EP recorded by the end of the year. So yeah.
That would be
I'm
fun.
also planning on doing like a live sort of acoustic set on Instagram.
Oh.
Have to keep your eyes peeled, and we'll release the details of that soon, I think.
Definitely. Sounds good. And lastly, if you only had a few words to describe Slow Burn, which few words would you use?
I thought about this one, and I would say heartfelt, nostalgic, and hopeful.
Oh, that's great. I would agree.
Very
That's
nice.
perfect.
Beautiful stuff. Mikki, Olly, and Tess, thanks for joining me. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks
for having
Calen.
us,
It's nice
Calen.
to see you or hear you.
Yeah.